Everything you've been taught about achieving your goals is completely backwards, and this is why 99% of people don't achieve the desired goals that they have for their life. The main reason why these goals aren't achieved isn't because of a lack of discipline or a lack of knowledge or a lack of skill set. It's simply due to the fact that people are so attached to the actual result and outcome that comes with the achieving of the goal that as soon as they have one bad day or make a mistake, they spiral, they give up, and they go through this cycle of doubt because they're so worried about the actual result instead of the process that goes into it. And I know you're probably thinking that this sounds counterintuitive, and by doing the opposite of worrying about the result, achieving your goal doesn't make sense. But this is the exact strategy that every successful person uses, and I've also applied to make six figures a year since I've been 16 years old. And by the end of this video, not only will you become aware of why staying attached to your result is killing your goals, but you'll also have the proven framework in order for you to maintain desired flow state and achieve anything you want in your life. I'm going to walk you through exactly what happens when you get too attached to outcomes and the results. Let's say you just set your goal and you spoke it into existence, because most of the time that's what we do when we set a big goal for ourselves. We immediately get this dopamine and motivation spike. But then, since we set our goal out into the universe, not only do we get internal pressure like perfectionism, self-judgment, emotions around the goal, pleasing others, whatever it may be, but we also get external pressure, whether it's work KPIs and quotas, deadlines for school, or some other event you have, people pressuring you to achieve your goal, whatever it may be. We have multiple types of pressure coming in due to the fact that our goal has now been established. And that creates excess potential. And excess potential is just unnecessary energy that you're giving to a situation or things that you can't control. So that would be worrying about your goal and not being able to control it right now, or thinking about it all the time, obsessing about it, whatever it may be. But due to the excess potential, our energy and daily inputs ride on the highs and lows. So when we have a good day, when we're on track to hit our goal, we're super pumped up, we're super happy, we feel like the fucking man. But then when we make a mistake, when we don't have a great day, decisions are based on emotions instead of the data. So let's say I was, a salesman for a company, because that's what I used to do before this. If I was attached to my outcomes of, let's say, hitting the quarterly quota, and I had a really good sales day, like I had 10 sales that day, I would be so happy. I would come home feeling like the man. I'd probably be, letting my dick hang a little bit, just feeling like $1,000,000. But then if I was attached to my outcome and I didn't get any deals, I would start catastrophizing. I would make emotional decisions instead of, data-driven decisions. And I would freak out because I had one bad day instead of looking back at all the good days I had and realizing that I was still on track to hit the quota. But due to these emotional decisions, our results begin to fluctuate even more. And the more we fail due to the lack of focus and the emotions going on, the more we spiral down and the more excess potential increases, as well as the internal and external pressure. So this is something called being at effect, not cause. And being at effect is essentially being a victim to your circumstances compared to being at cause, which is taking responsibility. And this is an example of being at effect. So after our decrease in performance due to all the racing emotions and stressors that we've caused ourselves and all this excess potential, we begin going down these shame, procrastination, overthinking, and inconsistency loops. Now, what does that cause? Let's say, I had my bad day and I feel horrible and I'm, so attached to the result and I feel ashamed, and then I'm, procrastinating because I'm too worried about failing again and I'm overthinking, and then I go through this cycle, and let's say I don't even go sell the next day because I'm so in my head and I'm too scared to fail again that I don't even go out to sell. Well, now I'm in even more shame, even more procrastination, I'm overthinking even more, and negative beliefs are formed. Now, this is where we get stuck. This is where it gets hard to get out of, because the negative beliefs is usually when you quit. Everyone's had that goal where they spoke it into existence. They started going to the gym for 2 weeks, for example, at the beginning of the year, and then they missed one day, and then they just stopped going because they were so hard on themselves. They're so worried about the result instead of worrying about just going to the gym every single day. So they quit, And then these negative beliefs are formed, and then they don't go to the gym for, 6 to 8 months until they get another dopamine motivation spike, and then the cycle repeats itself. And everyone thinks that the road to achieving their goal looks like this, right? Just a smooth path to the finish line. But that is not the case, and rarely will you ever see someone or talk to someone who's conquered something big in their life where their route to success looked like that. This is what it's actually going to look like, and the sooner that you can understand this and actually use it to your advantage with the steps we're going to go over, the faster you will achieve your goals and the more at peace you'll be on a day-to-day basis. In just a second, we're actually going to dive into how to fix this issue, right, and how to get out of the trap. But before that, I want to show you where you are now, if you're watching this video, which is likely attached to the results, and where you could be, which is detached. And there's a few different characteristics that you can kind of pay attention to that may help with actually applying the steps once we get to those in just a second. So attached to results, that would look like subjective thinking, like emotional thinking, emotional decisions, worrying about the numbers, worrying about the metrics, excess potential, like we talked about. Their energy is like a roller coaster, and they spiral on bad days. So if you notice this within yourself, whether it's in a work environment, a family environment, any other sort of business environment or goal-oriented environment, you're likely attached to the outcomes. And the results of this would be inconsistent performance, procrastination, difficulty making decisions due to the excess potential and overthinking going on, energy depletion and burnout, regret, shame spirals on bad days, and obviously negative beliefs being installed and believed. Like I said, this is being at effect. This is being a victim to your circumstances. Now, I'm sure you probably don't like hearing that if this describes you, but the good news is you can change today. Now, here's where you could be, which is detached. Objective thinking, only thinking based off the data and the facts, not what's going on in your head, not how you feel, not the emotions your brain's throwing at you. I talk about it in one of my other videos, and I'll link it down below, that you are not your thoughts. And I actually dive into how to control your thought patterns. So if you're interested in that, the link is down below. But all your decisions are calculated. They're process focused. You're in the present. You're in flow state is what I like to call it. You are consistently flowing through your day and you feel stress free. There's a steady, consistent energy about you. And as you go along, you continue to adapt and learn as you progress. Now, this will result in consistency, which is the biggest one. Mental clarity, purpose-driven energy, learning and improving daily, compounding momentum. So literally, the more you stack these daily wins and the more you can stay detached from your result, the quicker you'll actually get there. And new, stronger beliefs are formed, whether it's confidence or any other positive internal belief. These develop over time the more consistent you are. And of course, you're being at cause. You're taking responsibility for your actions. You're thinking about things objectively, and you are acting like the fucking man. Okay, so you know the differences between being attached and being detached, but this is the most important part. And if you're not ready to make change and actually implement the tools given, you might as well just get off this video right now. I don't care if you tank my watch time. You are wasting your time if you're not ready to actually make a change. But if you are, here are the 3 principles that I follow and hundreds of other people as well to consistently remain detached from your results and to stay grounded through it all. So the first one's going to be disassociation. So this is going to be viewing yourself in third person. See how this guy's looking at himself? It's kind of weird, but you're going to zoom out of your body and look at yourself. So I right now would be looking at myself sitting at my desk recording this video. Sometimes it helps to close your eyes. But you're going to view yourself from outside of your body. You're going to observe without judgment. You're not in the situation. You're just watching it. That's the key. You're just watching it. Act like it's not even you. You're just watching yourself as a video game character and observing it. Remove any emotion and see what actually happened. The factual data. Not what you feel, not what's going on up here, what you notice as you're looking at yourself in third person. And then extract the learnings. Understand that your current reality is the compounding past decisions and your thoughts from the past 12 months, 5 years, 10 years of your life. So what is this showing you about you? What will you do differently next time? How is this happening for you? Really pay attention to that and reflect. Make sure there's zero emotion involved. Second one's going to be momentum management, aka flow state. So the first thing is whenever you break momentum, whenever that tough event happens, let's say, like, go back to the sales reference, you're knocking the doors, door-to-door salesman, and you get a door slammed in your face, you get cussed out, or you miss your workout for the gym, or you have a cheat meal when you're not supposed to, something like that. Pause and become aware. You need self-awareness because without self-awareness, this process is impossible. The immediate next step is going to be gratitude. Find something that you can be grateful for in that specific situation, no matter how small. This will automatically raise your frequency and it also resets your nervous system. And then you're going to reframe the situation. I talk about in the video link down below a little more in depth, but how is this happening for me? So I cheated on my diet when I wasn't supposed to. Okay. Well, how is this happening for me? Well, first of all, I'm grateful that I had a very good meal to eat. And it's happening for me. It shows me that, I shouldn't have certain foods in my house because if I do, then I'll cheat on my diet, on my meal prep. So maybe if I just remove these and batch prep my meals, I won't cheat. And then step 4 is adaptive action, which is knowing what you actually need in that moment. So rest, adjustment, continue going on with your day. Choose based on what your gut is telling you to do, not what you're trying to force yourself to do based on the result. Like if you've been going hard for your sales job for 3 weeks straight and you haven't taken one day off and then you have a really bad morning and you're like, I should probably rest, but I really want to keep selling and keep making more money. No, rest. Trust me. And then step 5 is extract and move. What did I learn? How do I do it differently next time? And then the third one's going to be sticking to a custom system. Now, this one's very important as well. Not only does this remove decision fatigue, but it also ensures embodiment of desired self. So the biggest thing here is knowing what works for you, not following any sort of protocol or guru morning routine, but knowing how you actually operate, your strengths and your weaknesses, and designing a system around it to ensure that you can maintain consistency and not intensity. So you're going to want to adapt this to your personality. Like type A personalities need rigid structure, where type B needs a flexible framework. So figure out how you operate, track your progress the right way. Don't obsess over the metrics. When you make a mistake, it's okay, but try to stay as aligned with your desired self as you can. So let's say I'm trying to be, a millionaire. Well, what would a millionaire's routine work like that also works with my personality? Write that out. This is the most important part. So if you're struggling with implementation or you want help making a custom system for yourself or just have questions in general, feel free to drop a comment below. I'll also post a link to my Instagram. If you want to shoot me a DM on there, I respond to all of those pretty quickly. And I'm always open to helping you. Take a screenshot of this, save it for later. This is what you're going to be using daily. So here's exactly what happens when you use these tools versus when you don't. And this is where the people who achieve their goals achieve them, and the people who continue in the cycles and never get what they want stay stuck. So like we started, your goals identified. Dopamine motivation spike. You begin working to achieve your goal. Now here is the determining stage. You experience your first failure or you don't see results right away. You have 2 options. Attach. You give up, lose momentum. Problem loop spiral, negative beliefs are formed and believed. Motivation sparks again, and then you start over. Or you can use the tools that we just went over and go the detached route. Use the disassociation process and the other 2 principles. Stick to the process regardless of the wins and the losses. The key is not only do you not let the losses affect you, but you don't give credit to the huge wins. You can't ride the highs and you can't ride the lows. And continue growing. The law of compounding inputs. As long as you keep doing the work, as long as you don't give up, it is impossible to fail, no matter what your goal is. Eventually, you will achieve the desired result. And the choice is yours. You can either be at cause, take responsibility for your decisions. When shit goes south, you can hold yourself accountable and responsible and adapt accordingly, extract the learnings, and achieve your goal. Or you can be an effect. You can be a victim. You can give up, again, lose momentum. You can go back down the problem loop, and then you can continue on this spiral for the rest of your life. The choice is yours. So here's the reality. You have every tool you need to achieve any goal you want. Now it just comes to you. The ball is in your court. Are you going to implement? Are you going to take action? Or are you going to go down the same cycle you always go down? If you take action, if you implement, if you stay consistent, you will conquer your personal mountain. Results are not the goal. They are the byproduct of the process. Do not chase the results. Become the person who gets them. Detachment is the path to inevitable success. Now, if you thought this was helpful, drop a comment down below. In my next video, I'm going to actually break down my personal system that I use in order to stay dialed, stay in flow, work 14 hours a day, and stay aligned with all 5 of my big goals. It's super, super crucial that you have a custom process. So if you're struggling with that part, either you can DM me or you can subscribe and watch my next YouTube video. But I'll put a link down there below to the video about thought processes and thought control, as well as a link to my Instagram. If you want to work one-on-one with me at a deep level and really build this out and work on all your issues and achieve all your goals, there's also a link to book a call with me as well. But I will see you guys in the next video.